Everyone. Good morning. Okay, so this is going to be a quick but purposeful conversation. And hopefully, you guys can take like some work from it, some ideas from it, and make some shifts happen in your business, in your life that you haven't already considered. Um, so, where do I want to start? Let me figure that out. Okay, so I want to talk about Q3 and how to make it powerful. Because this month in Joyful Elevation, my group container, um, we have been we first of all we had a elevate your quarter party in the end of June to prepare ourselves for Q3 and all things that we wanted and all things that we wanted to experience and do and change. And I challenged the people in the container to go forward and make their plans for the next 90 days, right? And then the way that we do things within that space is by honoring our commitments to the who. I don't know if Instagram is live, so I'm just gonna go and make Instagram live as well. Is honoring the commitments to the who. And in honoring the commitments to the who, we have had to decide and make decisions about who we are going to be in the next 90 days or in quarter 3. And I think it's such a um, powerful exercise to participate in and to do, um, just because it gives you a new perspective on things when you get to decide who you want to be, right? And it gives you a new perspective on things when you have to or when you decide to commit to something like yourself and all of that. Okay, I have Instagram here. um I like my filters on Instagram. Okay, so how to make Q3 more powerful than it already is. Here's how you're going to do it. Okay. So, and if you haven't already made your plans for Q3, if you haven't already like talked to your mentor, your advisors, your friends and them, the people that help you shape your reality, the people that help you do business and do the things that make you great, if you haven't already done that, you can use some of the points from this session, from this transformation talk to kind of get that stuff done, right? And so, how is your Q3 looking? What plans and intentions have you made? What do you want to experience, and how do you want it to look, right? And how do you want it to feel? And so, when with my Contain Joyful Elevation, we talk about first the who, right? Who have we been, right? Taking the time to look back over the last 6 months and decide and really honestly examine who you have been and how you've been showing up so that you can make a new decision. And so the purpose of that is not to judge yourself or to misuse it to like sometimes people get into like what I did before and then they use that to like judge themselves and beat themselves up. The purpose of that is not to do that. The purpose is to look back and see what works for you. Look back and see how you've grown, where your growth opportunities were, and that's in your life or in your business. Look back and see where you've made an impact. Look back and see where you've connected with people in authentic ways, and really look back over the last 6 months and say, okay, well, I was this type of person, and I was this type of person, and I liked when I was that type of person. I like when I showed up in this way. And when you can make it a habit of comparing looking back at your past and saying, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that, I like that. When you can do that regularly, it starts to change something within you because you learn to appreciate yourself exactly as you are and exactly as you have been. And that within itself is powerful because a lot of times we do what I call paint everything with a shit brush, right? We decide that everything was shit, everything was awful, everything was horrible, and then you're supposed to be expected to like take that and do something masterful with it, like plan to, kill the next 6 months. That's not how it works. So, how can you look back in appreciation of where you have been and the moments that have really activated something within you? And how honest can you be about those moments, those opportunities that you had to really see yourself? What did you love about who you have been? What lessons, what opportunities in your business, in your life came up where you were like, yes, more of this? Look back and find those moments. And then when you're able to define like who you have been and what you have liked and what you have enjoyed, you basically create a new sense of awareness within yourself about who you have the ability to be and who you have the ability to show up as. And that within itself, again, is very powerful and very magical. Because when you look forward to the next quarter, if you haven't already, again, this is like for those who are like kind of caught up in the in between, who haven't committed to a plan because of like self doubt and insecurities, this is for you. If you haven't looked at how you've been and how you've been being, then it's possible that you feel some type of doubt and shame. But let's imagine that the slate was clean and you get to decide, right? You get to decide how much of yourself you want to bring into this next quarter. How much of your authentic ideas, your authentic style of work, your authentic messaging, being, all these type of things that you want to bring with you. You get to make those decisions, and you should start with that. So you have your past, right? You have your past experiences. Look at them critically, pick out what you love, what you want more of, and then look forward and say, okay, how can I bring these pieces of me into the future? How can I bring these pieces of me into the now? How can I create more of those experiences? And once you can decide that, you can ask yourself, okay, like what experiences do I wish to have? What experiences do I seek to have? Right? Because I know that I experienced a lot of this, right? Maybe it was like you I don't know, you created your first group container. Maybe it was you launched a course and you loved the way creating a course felt. Or maybe it was you finally nailed down your ideal schedule. You had a week where you had the ideal schedule and it was perfect. How do you bring more of that into the future? Right? You decide by saying like what more experiences you would like to have. And then you plan that out. So if you had a really killer week where you were like, okay, yeah, my schedule was top tier. And then after that, you found that your schedule wasn't as good as you wanted it to be. I'm going to elevate this one a little bit. That your schedule wasn't, you weren't as good at maintaining that same schedule, right? Then the question becomes, how and who do I need to be? Well, who do I need to be to have that same schedule? And you look back and you say, okay, well, at this time I was, I was drinking my water. I leaned on my assistant a lot. I had a tech VA. I had this, I had that, I had the third. And once you can clearly identify what was working about who you were being, right, you can decide what experiences you want to have and you can allow yourself to have that. And by doing that over and over and over again throughout the quarter, you create an opportunity to be more yourself. The more time you take to be yourself in greater and greater quantities over the next 90 days, the more impactful your vision, your business, and your life will be, right? So who have I been? Who do I want to be? Hi. Who have I been? Who do I want to be? Right? What experiences do I want to have? And you just set the tone of that. And then once you can create the experience that you want to have, you have to be able to say again back to the who. Well, who was that person? Well, I was happier. I had more fun. I was more embodied. Okay, so what made you more embodied? When you launched that course or whatever and people were like eating it up and loving it, how did you get to a space of being more embodied? How did you get to a space of having more fun? That's the how that we need to call in. And so quarter three, the world is changing. So quarter three isn't going to be about how much grunt work you can do, and how much can you put into the thing. It's going to be about who you're being. It's going to be a conversation and a commitment, if you will, to who you have been and who you would like to be, that is in most in alignment with who, like the inside of you or the most authentic version of you. And that's what's going to take you into the next level of success, right? Because when you can identify the experience that you've had and the experience that you would like to have more of, then you create a clear pathway, a clear operational SOP system, systematic approach to existing. And that is what's going to take you there. I think the magic of business has been changing for so long, and that some of us have gotten lost in thinking that business needs to be grunt work, it needs to be hustle, it needs to be like go go go, and really it needs to be free free free. And the way that you get to spaciousness and the way that you get to time freedom and eventually money freedom is by creating as much space narrowing in on who you have been being and clarifying with absolute clarity, right? The who that is going to take you to your next level. Thank you. Yeah, I do. Thank you. That's really affirming. So, I would like to challenge all of you that if you haven't made a plan for quarter three, please take the time. Hi, take the time to do that, right? Examine your 6 months, your past 6 months in power and in presence. What did you love? What really worked? What did you enjoy? And then look at that and see, okay, well, out of these things that I did in the first half of the year, how can I bring those experiences back into the future? Right? How can I take those moments that I loved, those moments that lit me up, those moments that fill me with such fire? How can I make more of that happen? Because it's not going to be like, oh, let me fine tune and do a bunch of hustling. It's going to be that you look at what you loved, what you enjoyed, what filled you, what fueled you, what created amazing results, and you pay attention to, okay, who was that person? Who was I when I was experiencing a 10K launch? Who was I when I was living my best schedule? Who was I? What fueled me? What experiences did I narrow in on and then create in my life by my way of being? And so that's what I want to talk about. So this thing about spiritual and strategic alignment, it is a strategy. The strategy of being yourself, of understanding how your energy can be carried with you through many different forms and processes, right? You can carry that with you everywhere, but you don't get there from beating up on yourself and you don't get there from hustling. You get there from honoring the magic of those moments that fueled you. So, whatever it was that was like, yes, I did it. I loved it. Okay, who was that person? Were they drinking their water? Were they meditating? Were they, everyone has a specific recipe that makes them the most them that they can be. And when you're the most you that you can be, that's how you get successful. So I want you to approach this like with real strategy and intent. And if you're not sure about your energy and you want to learn more about how your energy works, message me. Send me a DM. We could set up an appointment or something. I don't really know. I'm just talking now. But like, let's get clear on who you have been, who do you want to be, right? And then the how will unfold once you peel back the layers of who you have to be who you want to be. Everything that we do in our businesses and our lives is from my language, God-given, right? It's this deeper part of you that is pushing against or seeing the need for change, the need for innovation, the need for leadership, the need for a vision, right? There's this part of you that is being fulfilled that I liken to God, right? Because that's what I believe in. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but there's a magic in you sharing your gifts with the world. And business, believe it or not, is all that is. Business is just you sharing your gifts with the world, your unique skills with the world. So when you take time to really look at who you have been and who you are being, it really makes you focus in on what makes me uniquely me. And how can I do more of that in the world in a way where it furthers the people that I see in the world who need me? It's not hard. It's not hard at all. Like, so again, it's important to honor all of you and to move in purpose and not make it difficult, because all you're doing is clearing space. You're letting go of being busy, you're letting go of like hustle culture, letting go of the grind, and you're tapping into who you are and everything that you have to offer. And you're just tweaking that equation. You're just playing math over and over and over again. Okay. And I think the last piece I want to talk about is selling. Because a lot of people also, when you talk about your quarter or whatever, and you're building out your plan for how you're going to move forward in quarter three, you have the right to sell. You have the right to be valued for what you do. And that can be really hard to like play with sometimes, but your time is valuable. You are valuable. What you have to contribute is valuable. And if you do not have a way of selling your things, you're going to have to start to to dive into deeper waters. You're going to have to start taking big risks with that, right? And say, okay, I commit so much to who I need to be that I am willing to go and have conversations with people that I see who need who I am, right? I am willing to look at a person and say, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm going to go and share my gifts with this person. And I'm going to ask, hey, do you need me today? Or hey, can I help you today? Would you let me help you? I'm a projector, so my human design is a little bit different. So like, don't quote me on that. Like for me, I have to wait for invitations, but there's a way in which I can do that in a way that honors my energetic being. So that's the last piece. As you come into yourself, as you plan quarter three, make sure you do not plan and skip over how you're going to sell, how you are going to position yourself to have powerful, impactful conversations with people about all the value you have to offer. And if you don't know how, listen, I know a few really great sales coaches. I know a few really stellar salespeople. And I can give you a recommendation. Okay, so a generator, there's a comment over here on Instagram. So generators are doers, right? You guys have this vast amount of energy where you can do. And I can go more into your chart in a different time. But you have an undeniable energy for doing, right? But your best strategy when it comes to like interacting with people and like selling or positioning yourself in your gifts is responding to. So you need to be responding to the world, right? It doesn't have to be person to person. It just needs to be like, this thing happened in the world. I'm responding to that. When people see you choosing to respond to things that are happening in your natural, energetic way, that's when they are drawn to you. And also with generators, you have to have a lot of fun. So if it's not fun, let it go. When we're talking about streamlining for quarter three, if you're a generator and you're not having a good time with the things that you're doing, let it go. And then tap into things that you do enjoy. Okay, and then with anyone who is a manifesting generators are kind of the same in that you have a lot of energy, but you have a lot of energy only when you enjoy the thing that you're doing. And so you have to be able to, because manifesting generators have so many ideas, the biggest part about who you need to be is you need to let all those ideas, all those passions, you need to create a pathway to all of them. So each day you should just be dabbling daily in what you do. And your strategy, I would have to look at your whole chart, but I can almost bet that your strategy is about responding as well. Again, you have lots of energy, but only for the things you're passionate about. Only for those massive amounts of like random things. People think that they're random. For you, they're not random. They're all purposeful. And when you're, as a manifesting generator, when you're done, let it go. Period. Like if it doesn't bring you joy anymore, let it go and go on to the next thing. People call that pivoting. And I like manifesting generators because they power pivot very often. And when I say power pivot is because you are taking and honoring parts of you in massive ways. So you have to have a good time and you have to follow all your passions. So I just want to offer that to people. So when you sit down and make your Q3, just remember that Tanisha said, Asha said, have a good time. And do all the things that make me happy. Okay. So that's it. That's all I have for today. I hope your quarter three is massively powerful. I hope it is everything that you want it to be. And I hope you focus in on who. It's who, not how. That's going to always be true. If you want 10x the growth that you have had in your life, it's going to be in the who. If you want 10x the business that you have had, it's going to be in the who. The days of the how in business are done. Okay. So like, share, comment, send me a DM. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you all and be well. See you on the internet streets. Ending over here and ending over.